Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey with Colt and Larissa. Let's get to the show.
You guys love him. You guys got to work this out so that he can have both of you in his life.
And that's a big-ass ring. So you should feel like a damn queen with a rock like that.
Yikes. If you do want to yell at her like that, I would advise against it. It's slightly misogynistic. It's at the very least just slightly sexist to yell at her, to say, as a woman, you better know your place, and maybe as a foreigner, you better know your place. At least that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. He seems like a nice guy, and I think he's trying to help. But where he's going with this anger is, I don't think, a good thing. Let's rewatch that.
How is your life hell? You have a man paying for you. Your man pays for everything. Your man pays for everything. Because you don't do a thing right now. And until you do and you understand respect, you're not actually going to understand the truth about Debbie or Colt or America at all. So you should feel like a damn queen with a rock like that. But no, you take advantage.
What take advantage? I don't buy anything.
Oh, hey, you know what? Half the I don't say I just go with because he's a sweetheart and I love him.
So, yikes. And for Colt, he's just sitting there doing nothing. So this gives us an insight into Colt's personality and also the way that he hopes people will get pulled in. I don't know what Colt's thinking, but I suspect that he actually enjoys people getting pulled in. I actually wonder what the father was like, the deceased father. You know, there was the three of them, Colt and the two parents. I wonder what that triangle used to look like. I don't know. So what would I hope for? Well, what I would hope for from Colt would be like, whoa, buddy, thank you for fighting my fights, but you don't need to do that. And frankly, you don't really know the situation that well. So I appreciate your concern, and I love you like a brother, and thank you, but I don't want you fighting with my future wife. So, you know, we can talk about this another time. I'd much rather the two of you get along than what's happening right now. So you don't need to do this for me. Or as the conversation was beginning, Colt could have like cut it off and said like, okay, you know what? These are issues between me and Larissa, and you know, thanks for wanting, maybe we can chat another time, but this conversation is heading in a direction that I just don't think is fair to anyone right now. And so I've got it under control. So the vibe I'm giving across is I've got it under control. No one needs to be sucked into this. When you give that impression that you've got it under control, then people don't tend to get sucked in as easily. But his demeanor tends to suck other people in, Debbie and now the friend, and probably a lot of the viewers.
When John said that I would like to take advantage of Colt, I just laugh. Because advantage, what? Colt's not millionaire. Colt having a car with no air conditioner. So what kind of advantage are you taking? Using his body? Maybe. It's the only advantage that I take.
You better love him, dude. I swear to God.
I love him. I want to respect
we'll see,
him.
We'll see. So
but I want to put my head down for someone to control me.
Yikes. And again, you just look at Colt. He's doing nothing. So why would Colt do this in this situation? That there's a lot of different possibilities. One is that he's overwhelmed and flooded, and just as, you know, you have fight, flight, freeze, appease, and faint. And so the freeze response is something that people will do. Some of you might actually do this frequently, where you get freaked out in a situation, socially or otherwise, and you freeze. You're just like, okay, if I just act like I'm not here and I'm invisible, then I will be safe. So I wonder if he's doing that. I wonder if he actually really does want this fight to happen. He wants this very aggressive friend to blast her. Maybe he even put him up to this prior to this get-together. I don't know. Maybe he feels incompetent at trying to help people work things out. Maybe he saw his parents fighting all the time and he just didn't know what to do. Maybe there's some trauma that's being triggered. Maybe he's literally dissociating in this moment. I don't know. I would wonder what's going on for him right now. But the three of them, and I guess the four of them, even, you know, the friend's wife, I would really want, this is what family therapists do. We work with relationships. We work with people and we're just like, okay, let's slow down. What's happening right here? You know, let's try to rework this. Let's have the two of you talk, Colt and Larissa. Okay, let's have the two of you talk about this topic, and let's have the friends observe from the outside. And that, you know, those are just things that family therapists might do. But anyway, let's get back to the show.
And the whole
Wonderful, wonderful,
affect me.
wonderful. That bitch is for his money, period.
As she's just like, my husband is doing what on national television right now? Like, remember, there's cameras. So he just called her a name that is just uncalled for. And, you know, any point that he had that might have been valid is completely invalidated by the aggression and the name calling and the sexism that he's exhibiting. It's unfortunate.
You better love him, dude. I swear to God.
I love him. I want to respect him, mother.
We'll see.
But I want to put my head down for someone to control me.
Wonderful,
and
wonderful, wonderful.
He his life to affect me.
That bitch is for his money, period. You think about riches and glory and glam and all this other. You're a lucky one because he deserves better.
Okay, so now Debbie is being triangulated into the triangle between John and Larissa. And you notice what she said. She's like, who's getting cold? She's just trying to change the topic.
He deserves better. Stop it. Welcome to Vegas. Ass is cheap. Ass is cheap. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
Did he just say, welcome to Vegas, ass is cheap? If that's what he's saying, and if I'm guessing what he means by that, like, yikes. Let's rewind that.
You're a lucky one because he deserves better. He deserves better. Stop it. Welcome to Vegas. Ass is cheap. Ass is cheap. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
Don't come in here screaming.
Good luck.
So another notable thing about this interaction is that Larissa seems very much at home in this conflict. I have to tell you, for me, if I was even nearby or even watching this, I'm getting tense. There is no way that I would be comfortable with what's happening at this barbecue. And if I was Larissa, I would have bounced. I'd just be like, okay, I guess that's just how I deal with things. So we all have different personalities when it comes to this sort of thing. And Larissa is demonstrating that she is very much at home and seemingly accustomed to this high level of aggression and conflict. She seems to be taking it pretty well. She's just like smiling and yelling back at him. And she doesn't seem to be escalating in the way that other people might be. So that tells us something, I think, about her childhood. I don't know exactly what, but I think it tells us something.
When I have my Jaguar.
I can't pretend anymore. It's just fake. It's bull. That's not true love. I'm sorry. That's just a lie. Love is enduring for the other.
No,
love is fighting for the other.
In my wedding. Don't come into my wedding, okay? What do you think that you are? And everyone that's against me,
Your
not my wedding, okay? You say to them that you
mindset of love is absolutely.
So at what point does Colt say, all right, okay, all right, friend, go home. We'll talk tomorrow. Larissa, I'm sorry about my friend. I guess we'll go to couples therapy and talk about this. At what point does Colt say something to break this, train wreck up?
Delusional and confusing. You don't know what love is or what respect is. You don't know what it is.
All right, every once in a while, she says something that I think reveals something about her schema, and that is whoever will oppose the queen will die. What? Let's rewind that.
My wedding, okay? You say to them that
mindset of love is absolutely delusional and confusing. You don't know what love is or what respect.
Who is against the queen will die. Who is against the queen will die. If you're against me, who is the queen, you will die. I don't fault her for getting upset and getting aggressive. I mean, he started it. He started the aggression, but that is an interesting statement. So Let's talk about schema therapy for a little bit. So for some people, in the way that they're being treated, usually by their parents, they will develop a schema of entitlement, meaning that they believe that they're entitled to more than what they should feel entitled to. And they will very frequently try to get things, and it's somewhat consistent with what she's talking about. But the real test would be is if I talked to her and I actually asked her a bunch of questions about how she sees the world and how she sees her place in the world. And we haven't really seen much talk around that. While she's very escalated right now, she's saying this, which is an entitled statement. But again, she's being attacked, and so we can't really fault her for trying to defend herself in this situation. But I wonder if this indicates what we've been seeing evidence of, or some red flags of, which is a schema of entitlement. Now, what we'll tend to do as a society is we'll shame that. It's like, oh, he's so entitled, she's so narcissistic, they're so selfish, that sort of thing. Well, the thing to look at is, why would someone shoot themselves in the foot by having such a destructive personality trait that pushes other people away? Why would someone have that? It's not usually because they wake up in the morning and they're just like, you know what, I'm going to ruin my social life and my romantic life and my, everything in my life. I'm going to ruin it because I'm just going to waltz through life thinking I'm entitled to things. Usually people don't have those kinds of problems because they want to. And so people develop these schemas because of traumas that they've been through. And why would someone develop a schema of entitlement? Well, there's a lot of different reasons. But there are two main causes that I've seen clinically, and I've actually treated people with this schema. One is that you're treated so badly that you actually overcompensate by saying, you know what, I'm special, I'm superior, and I deserve everything. Listen to my deep dive on narcissistic personality disorder. I think I talked for, 10 hours, 15 hours or something? I can't remember how long, but a long time. If you become a patron, you get access to that episode along with other deep dives on other personality disorders and schema therapy for that matter. But anyway, so that's one, is that you're treated so badly that you actually overcompensate by trying to trick yourself that you're superior as a way of trying to protect yourself from the real notion that you have, which is that you're worthless. And you don't even really exist in the world, and that you're trying to protect from that. The other reason is that you were challenged in your needs, and you were also given all these messages around entitlement, meaning that your parents treated you in a very entitled way. And so you graduated from early childhood, one, not getting your needs met entirely, and two, being taught that you are superior and that you're better than other people. Sometimes it's in relation to another sibling or other classes of people. If you're upper class and your parents give you all these messages that you're better than other people. Now, usually it's the first one. Usually it's the first, cause in that you're neglected and you develop this defense. Sometimes it's the second one. There are other causes for the entitlement schema, but essentially what happens is you develop this narrative about your place in the world, that you're better, that you deserve everything, and that you are entitled to things that other people are entitled to, and you believe you're better than other people. And if someone gets in your way, you might say something like, "Who is against the queen will die." I don't know. It's absolute speculation. I would have to ask Larissa if this made sense to her. And I've actually treated people who have had these schemas before, and there's a way of talking about it with them that doesn't insult them. It's a delicate balance, but I've had people admit to me, like, you know what, actually, I do have that schema. And then we try to provide therapy and corrective experiences so that they don't have to resort to superior attitudes, which actually push people away. Because these attitudes are usually an effort to defend against threats of attachment and thus cause more threats. But anyway, let's continue watching.
You don't know what it is to have a marriage or a true, meaningful life.
Yeah, I suspect for John, there's someone else in his life that made him feel that way, and he's yelling at that person. Maybe his own mom, I don't know. But he seems, from the beginning, to be over-energized by this. He's yelling not only at Larissa, but someone else in his life in his past. It's just a guess.
I don't know what I can do. I can't really handle someone that is completely irrational and yells and screams, and I wish everyone just calm down and talk things through.
Don't come to my wedding. Don't come to my...
All right, so he told us a little bit about what he's been experiencing as the two of them are yelling. He says, I don't know what to do. I'm overwhelmed when I see two people fighting. So it gives us an idea as to why he wasn't doing anything.
Oh, I don't care to come to your wedding. I hope
queen
that
don't
I'm
want
working or
you.
something. I swear to God.
The queen don't want you.
Bitch. I wish that
they all got along.
I wish that she
That's all I wish.
I wish that Larissa loved him. I believe in true love. I believe in actually, working with a partner and growing.
So as usual, when you pull them away from the situation, they're much more differentiated, and he just said it, which was valid. I feel like she doesn't love him, and I wish that she did love him, because I want my friend to have someone that cares about him and loves him for who he is. And it seems as though she doesn't really love him for who he is. That's fine. Just stick with that. You don't know that for sure, but you suspect it. You're worried about it. Instead of escalating to aggression, name-calling, telling her she needs to appreciate the fact that she was given a ring, all those kinds of messages. So that's usually what happens, is we have a good feeling, a rational feeling, an understandable feeling, and then we don't know how to express that because society hasn't taught us that, or our families haven't supported that, and we will transform that into another emotion because we're much more comfortable in that emotion. Anger is usually much more comfortable for most people, not everybody. And then we just express that instead of actually sticking with the genesis of the issue, which is I'm worried about my friend. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.